Put it in it. Hey, welcome. We look good. You look good.
Yeah.
Put this down. Okay.
Fair
Audio's good. How are you? Welcome to another episode of the People's Mic. I am Jimmy Peoples. Introduce yourself.
Hey, yo, I'm Malorie Bryant.
Get some of this table here.
Yeah.
All right. Trying to rush this and get it together. All right. No, come to me. Come to me.
Okay, come to you. Okay.
Yep. Closer. Good job.
Perfect.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah.
This
How
is
are
a production.
You?
It is a production.
It is fabulous. It's just fabulous.
Introduce yourself. Tell them who you are, what you do.
Yeah. I'm a stand-up comic in New York City, or wherever they will send me and pay me. But yeah, I'm a comic. We met. Jimmy Peoples was the first person to give me a spot on his show.
I still debate that.
He was. He doesn't.
You were doing comedy before.
I was, but I was just doing mics and I was producing my own shows.
Okay, so
you were the first person to give me a spot on a show that wasn't my own.
See, that's the disclaimer.
No, that's true. That's true. The first. Do you know what I mean? Like the first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody else gave me a spot.
I don't. Okay. They're
trying
stupid. That's ridiculous.
They
I like being first.
Yeah. Boom. Boom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what's up. And you've been doing it ever since. You do a lot of dope shit.
I try.
All right.
Yeah.
And what how was your day? Let's start slow.
Yeah, absolutely. Day was good. I'm preparing for my trip to Chicago. I'm doing the Women's Funny Fest there, and so each morning I've been like waking up and just writing. Like first thing in the morning. Like sometimes I just don't even eat. I just like make my cup of tea, and then I write. And I'm trying to, and I write in the sense that like I'm trying to like
come in. Just poke in. They're like moles. Good.
Give myself that time to just like rework things or rework transitions. So I'll listen back to. I've been doing my set like every week for the last couple weeks. So I've been like tweaking things and listening back and seeing what's the best thing. And then I'm just going to plan to do that until show date Sunday.
Is that a competition or?
It's not a competition. It's just a celebration of women in comedy.
Okay. That's dope. You deserve it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm really excited.
Do you feel like you're ready? Do you feel like you're not ready?
Yeah, no, I do. I mean, knock on wood, I do feel ready.
Your head?
Yes. There's wood over there.
You want to...
But yeah, no, I feel pretty good. It's, as you know, as you've been doing stand-up for a long time, like you have your best stuff, and I'm just pulling all my best stuff.
Yes, as you should.
I'm not doing anything crazy, but I am trying to tighten up transitions. I like the chain links, like making sure that every chain links together rather than just being like, rapid fire, 8-minute set, let's do it. It's like, nah, let's like take my time.
Is it 8 minutes? How much time?
I have 15 minutes.
15 minutes? You can rock that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's
like
just enough
nice
to get comfortable.
Chunk of time I can get comfortable. I can say hello to them. I can talk. I don't have to, focus on just like joke.
Nice.
I can do all the jokes, but also feel comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah.
You pulled me aside. You said you wanted to. You had some stuff.
I had some stuff. I wanted to go.
Yeah. I never know the transitions because sometimes people come in like, look, I want to talk about this thing that happened to me.
Yeah.
And there's no transition to it.
No transition. Okay.
Into it.
This is what I want to talk about.
Yo.
Okay. So when I first met you, I knew, and I feel like the other day you were talking about like. Positive affirmations, positive books, positive things that you are into and that you read, and I'm into all those things as well. And I think that sometimes when you're not sometimes, all the time, when you're going through this whole like stand-up world, the vibe, you need certain little like keys, certain little nuggets to like help you continue the process, because it's definitely not going to be easy. And there's definitely you're going to ride a roller coaster. You're going to do an incredible set Friday night and then do the exact same set on Saturday, and it's shitty.
Yes.
So it's like, how do you get through? What are your steps towards success? Treating your failures like they are successes. And I feel like, that's what we need to talk about.
What are All right, let's start from the top then.
Yeah. And I might even ask you questions because I have questions too. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's
fair?
absolutely.
Okay,
you
cool.
can do whatever the hell you want. All right, ask me a question.
Let's perfect.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite, like, either quote or thematic idea that can help newer comics and older comics continue down the path of just grinding?
Yeah, that's super easy. It's actually a backstory.
Yeah.
Right? I hate that. A lot of it comes from my failures as a football player. All right, so it was a day when me and the young kids, it was a junior varsity, and we were like, hey, we're not going to play. We're on a state championship team. There's state championships every year. It's like Friday Night Lights, big football school. We would stand at the end and just crack jokes. And we would just say, hey, we're not going to get in, so we're just going to have fun in the back, and we're not going to play. One day, one of the coaches came, Coach Tag, he came over. He was like, what are you doing, right? And we were like, hey, we're never going to get in the game. We don't know how to get in the game. We practice. We do the plays. Those guys are good. How do we get in the game? And he said his exact words were, if you want to get in the game, stand next to the coach.
Okay.
And I heard that, and I was like, and I tried it. And I tried. The first night I tried it was at a big game, and I just put my helmet on. We stopped laughing. I went next to the coach and just stood next to the coach. And what the coach did was he leaned back and just grabbed whoever was behind him and then threw him in the game. You know? And the number one rule is just stand next to the people doing it, you know? Be there. And a lot of time. And it's a simple quote.
Absolutely.
Simple. Super simple.
I love that. That is so cool. I've never thought about it like that, but that makes sense.
And whenever I'm in a place where I feel like I'm not doing or in it, I just peek my head out, see who's doing something, and
and stay close.
Go get a seat by him. Come here, Shiny.
Yeah.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel free. You want to jump? You know what it is. If you want to jump in, you want to have a seat. Yes. No, this is the pod. You know what it is. Have a seat. Okay, no, not yet. At 3. Yeah. No, sit and talk. Chime in.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I love that idea. So for me personally, I would love to piggyback off of that and say that makes perfect sense. And my idea, like if I could tell any new or old comic if they're having a tough day, is just be around it. Just go.
Absolutely.
Don't and go to a mic or go to a show. Specifically, if you're going to the mic, don't try to be funny. Just talk and see what happens.
Absolutely.
And don't set these like crazy goals for yourself. Like I have to do this or I have to do that. It's just like the only thing is just be in the game. Whether that's supporting a show, whether that's going, to a mic. I remember I had this super depressed day. I was like going through a bunch of shit and I was just like so pissed off. But then my intuition told me, go to a mic. Right? And I went to the mic, and a lot of comments were like, oh, mics are so depressing. But I was like, I was so depressed that like the mic was happy. I was like, this is a step up. And it made me feel so much better just to be like, I'm doing the work. Like if you do it, if you build that bridge, like you might not be famous, but you'll feel better as a person.
You're taking attention away from that thing bothering you.
100%.
And it's the energy. You're shifting energy.
Yep. It's 100%. Yeah. It's like there's this book called The War of Art, and it's brilliant. And basically, like to sum it up, he says, oftentimes, like your mind will create problems in order to take you away from your artistic journey. But you're always going to have problems. So just go and fuel yourself with your artistic journey. Do the steps that need to be done for your artistic journey, and you then will feel better, and you'll then come back to your problems with new perspective.
Yeah, I haven't read that in so long.
Yeah, such a good book, right?
Yes.
I've read it multiple times. Is you always find something new, you know?
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts.
I want you to have your list of questions.
Oh, yeah. Are you ready?
Yes,
I got more. Okay, so then my next So my next point
yes.
was, I think this comes up a lot for comics. Like, do I read stand-up comedy books? How to write comedy? How do I go about getting it done, right? Like, what do I do? So what are your thoughts on reading stand-up comedy books, how to write stand-up, taking classes? And you can think, or I have an answer, but you can go.
I don't know, even if I'm qualified to answer this, but
fair enough.
At the beginning, the basic rule of getting started in anything is to read 10 books on that subject. You know, you read 10 books and then you can go and then practice it. It's just learn, do, teach. You know, if you read the 10 books and then just keep reading and then now you practice. So yeah, you should absolutely read. You know, what was after that?
Well, let's stay on the book thing for just a second.
Yeah.
Because I am familiar with that idea, but for me personally, I chose to do the exact opposite. I was like, I'm not going to read books on comedy or stand-up because I felt like, because this is the age of information and me personally in my life, I was always reading, I was always taking classes, but stand-up was the first place in my life where I said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm just going to get up and try it out and just start putting in my 10,000 hours. And then I started reading stand-up books once I started to get the feel for being on stage. And I actually found that process for me was better because sometimes I would get too in my head. And I think sometimes this will happen with certain artists is you'll start reading and then you get too in your head and then you don't end up actually doing it because you're like, well, I'm not doing it right, or I don't know how to write a joke. Whereas like, I'm just like, just get up on stage, tell the jokes, see what starts working for you. And then what I found was when I started to find jokes that were working for me, I then would read stand-up books and be like, oh, this joke works because I followed the formula that I didn't even know I was following. And then all these jokes that don't work, now I need to put through that formula. And then, you know, shoot it back out. Joke format.
I went through phase. Like the first time when I started comedy, there was just say something funny, and then because that's what they did I started the Laugh House, so guys would just write funny shit and then talk about it. Then when I came into actually starting doing mics in Philly, where it wasn't, I guess I don't know what you would call that. It's not a black crowd, but commercial. You know, these guys are all reading books and writing jokes and using formula and that. And now the point that I'm at, I just want to be a reporter and just talk about my asshole view on how I see the world, you know, and not care what people think. Yeah, you know?
Absolutely. It's like you get to that point with your authenticity where you're just like, I just want to speak as truly as I possibly can and like take it or leave it. Yeah. And then having that creative autonomy.
Because you know the formulas and you know how to write, but but nobody knows your voice like you.
100%.
And that's what's funny. You know?
Yeah, because then eventually, like, there's like an Alan Watts. I'm not going to quote him specifically, but he does talk about this idea of like when a kid first like is a child and they're expressing their artistic whatever that is, they're singing, they're dancing, whatever, there's no technique there, it's just the love. And then once you become like an adult, you then train and then you have all your technique and you can dance better, you can dance perfectly or whatever. But then the perfect dancer, once they do become this master, it's as if there's no technique. And it's like the same thing like what you were just saying. It was this idea of like once you start writing these jokes that are brilliant and amazing and from your own voice, it doesn't look like there's technique. It's like it's been ripped from technique.
Because it's passion.
Because it's passion. It's the love. Exuding. Okay, cool. Next question. Cool. I'm so excited. I'm just having so much fun. Okay, so I have like 3 more questions. I think we can fit it all in though.
No, we got time.
Okay, coolio. So like what...
If you guys want to chime in, feel free. Feel free. It's not... Okay, never mind.
Okay. So being that you put me up at your show, you're the first person to give me a spot. Right? Producing shows. What is some of your advice on producing shows? I know we've both done it from different standpoints, and if you were to tell another comic or another person in this industry, what are some of the big things that you learned, some of the things, pitfalls, pros and cons?
Depends on what kind of show and where you're doing it. If you're just doing a bar show, the basic rule is find a place that has foot traffic. If you're super new and don't know a lot of people coming in and say, I want a show, find a place that has foot traffic. Talk to the owner and find an owner that likes comedy. That's a rule breaker. Once you come in and
they don't like comedy,
and they will shut that shit down for football night, for Monday Night Football in a minute. But if they like comedy, they have a space. Hey, you can use this space, and you can go 1,000 times farther with a bar owner who's interested in comedy, because I mean, I've seen bars toss you money to pay for comics, but and you can get that. You should get that. You should get a budget and pay comics. A lot of places don't. Jersey does that. Jersey promoters, because a lot of those owners, I don't know why they're so different from New York, but they're interested in live entertainment, so they'll support it. There was one more. I don't want to get.
No, I think that's great advice, because I do believe that sometimes, like, people, like you said, the owner won't like comedy, and so then your show will get canceled. Last minute, and you don't want that to happen. I agree with foot traffic, and I also think, so say you can't find that venue with foot traffic, or you can't find a venue.
How to find a venue? Basic.
What do you think? Do you want to go?
The two sites that are Free Mics and Bad Slav. A formula I use is find places that do music mics and find their shittiest night and tell them you'll take that shittiest night just to get in, and then that's how you start. Give me the time that you're not making money, so I can try to help you make money in that slot.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that's great.
Right.
I agree. I think the other thing that I would just say is that, like, if you can't get a weekly, or you can't get something at a specific venue, to produce your own show. That was the one thing I did right out of the gates, was I really wanted to produce a super great show. So I rented out a space, and I charged, a little bit of amount for tickets just to help me pay for the space. And then I produced this super kick-ass show, which I then got great tape from. I was able to give comics great tape from that. And that's another road. I don't think necessarily comics like, I don't have a venue, or I don't have a show, or I have to do it at this place or this place. It's like, no, find a space you love, or whatever, have a secret show, and it's just a pop-up, and it just keeps changing locations. Like, you can do that. You have so much more control than I think.
Close your eyes and open your eyes and allow yourself to be creative.
100%.
I love finding new venues. Me personally, I like the grassroots guerrilla, not paying any money and making something from nothing. So
and I don't mind paying money,
but so
because I know you can make it back to a certain degree.
There's plenty of places you can rent out a place easy, and you can. There's apps now where you can just get a space and then do whatever you want in that space. So that finding a venue shouldn't be hard at all. You can okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, like, if you did want to do it at a club, there's also that option of, as long as you can bring a lot of people, you can rent out the space.
You can always do a 40-person bringer and go to a club. If you know people and you got money.
Which I have done before.
They love the 40-person bringer,
Yeah, that's where you get your half hour done.
The problem with that is I hate fleecing my friends for a $12 domestic beer.
Well, that's the other level. If you have a bunch of friends, but if you don't, then go to the other end.
Keep my friends.
Yeah, well, and that's what the 40-person bringer is. You bring 40 people that you hate and don't ever want to see again, and you tell them, look, I'm shooting you all in the face with these jokes.
Yeah.
Who do what? Yeah.
Do it.
Good.
Okay, so that was one thing, and then I also like to piggyback on bringer shows. Just so you know, I agree with you 100%, because I don't want to pimp out. I call it like pimping out my friends. Like, I don't want to do that. But one thing that I think is great is, say you did want to do like a longer set, or you did want to produce something yourself. What I recommend is renting the venue so that there is no drink minimum.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't matter what they buy. They pay $10 to get in and that's it. And then they can buy what they want to buy. They don't have to. They're there. They're having a good time. So I do believe that there is that option as well that a lot of people, not that they don't think about it, but I just don't think it necessarily crosses their mind to be like.
That's a much smarter route to go. You don't sort of fall into the system without trying to step outside.
Exactly. Like, I have some friends and they produce like a great show, and it's literally they just change venues and they do like a $5 or $10 ticket, and then you can buy whatever you want when you're there. That's it. And it's great. It's packed room. You don't have to. Right, but when there's a minimum or something, then it just looks like cringy, and it's not that cool.
Yeah.
But also, I think a great way to get your friends to see you is in a light that's like really, whether you're doing 10 minutes, it's hard to get them to see you in 5 minutes because what can you say in 5 minutes, But set yourself up for success in that way. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so, and then that's kind of like tapping on bringer shows. I also think like, go ahead. What were you going to say about?
Promoting included in that?
Yeah, let's talk about promoting.
How do you feel about using social media as promoting your show?
So I think some comics do it really well, and I think other comics don't do it so well. You post your show on Facebook, we all know about it, and then we're all going to ask you for spots on your show, which is like part of it. Letting people, know that you run a show, and then you can then trade spots, which is a thing that people talk about. But to just talk about the idea of just simply promoting your show, I think that social media isn't necessarily enough. The way that I always, if I'm doing a big show and I really want people to come, you have to text message. You have to write to people as a person, because social media.
You opened my mind to that.
Yeah.
I think because when I was doing a show, I was like, it was a bigger show than I was used to doing.
Okay.
And I was like, how am I going to fill this place?
Yep.
And it was like, just ask people one by one.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
But
I was like, no, people, I don't want to talk to all these people, but I want them there. But it works.
Yeah, 100%. You send those text messages, because here's the thing: like everyone loves stand up at the end of the day. Like maybe there's like a few, like 1% that don't like it, but everyone wants to see you do stand up. Okay, whether you bomb or whatever, they want to see you. They want to support. So you have to send genuine messages. Like it can be like a copy and paste, but it should say directly to them. No group messages. If I was writing to Jimmy, hi Jimmy, I hope all is well for you. I just want to let you know I've got this stand-up show coming up. If you can make it out, that'd be great. Here's a comp link, or here's a discount ticket link, or all comics get in for free. It'd be great if you could come. Yeah. That's how you get people to come to your shows.
As a personal trainer, I forgot how much I liked cold calling people. And that, it was. I like it. A lot of people don't like calling people, but because you got to call clients and follow up and get new members to join, and they give you this sheet in personal training. It's like cold call sheet. It's like sales 101. But you call each one and be like, hey, you coming in for this free training session? But it's the same way as promoting your show. Be like, hey, I got the show, and people like hearing your voice. When you. That's
brave. Excuse me. Sorry,
thinking
I
about
just burped.
No, do it.
That's very brave. Very brave.
Yeah.
Very brave.
No,
that's awesome.
And when you call them one, be like, hey, I'm having a show. I need you there. It was easy.
People really come out.
It was that muscle. And
a really big show on Friday.
Text is fine, but if you call them and say, yo, I need you at this show.
Yeah, but
like
to talk on the phone.
No, real quick. I'm not telling you about your life. Be like, look, I'm really having this show, and it just shows them how important you are to this show.
I message people a lot because it was a big contest I was in. And,
and how that response go? Say your name too.
Tom DeSillis.
Yeah,
I was in the final round of the Long Island Laugh Off.
Yeah. Good for you.
But when you text people and say like, hey, final round.
Yeah.
This is like really big deal.
Yeah.
I had like 40 people.
Yeah. They still come.
For real.
Yeah.
Still come. Still reaching out.
And then they'll help you out too if they think they really like your act. They'll bring people.
They will bring their friends.
Yeah. Come see my friend.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Really awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think like when you do those texts, you can't do them every weekend.
No.
You got to do them like twice a year. I feel like you do the whole like.
Oh, you're
come
burning.
on,
You're
sorry.
burning.
Like, come on out, like call. And then I also think it's really important to when you meet your friends or when you meet people wherever you work or whatever you do, your freelance stuff. I have a list on my phone of people I'm supposed to invite to shows, and just keep that list because there's going to come a time when you're going to have to call on those people and you owe them a text message or something or a phone call or whatever if you're brave enough to call.
Not every day, but that's the like you said.
Absolutely. You can't do it every day. It's like I feel like it's like twice, maybe 3 times.
That's the Mayday bomb. That's you know.
And you should be doing a lot of time, or it should be a competition, or you should really be at least 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever you can do. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
Oh, my name is Connie. I just wanted to say that I produce a monthly show, and the only way that I've had success with getting people there, and it's been really successful, is with text.
Yes.
Like I can promote the shit out of Instagram, I can promote stories, but I text individuals like, hey, here's the show information, and then they message me in a couple days. Like that's how I have success.
Absolutely.
Those are all secondary. Like you need to do all of that. You need the Twitter, you need the Instagram, you need that.
100%.
But then when you call them, they'll say, "Oh, I remember seeing that," and then that solidifies.
I don't call them. I text them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
No, totally.
Yeah, I had a show last night, and I had 2 specific friends that I was like so excited that they were coming, and then I didn't see them. And she messaged me this morning. She was like, "I tried to get in, but it was too crowded."
Good job. That's a good problem.
I was claustrophobic, so I left.
Damn good problem.
Standing room in the back, and I was like,
"Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing."
You're like, "I'm famous."
Message me. I would have made room for you.
Yeah.
So she books shows.
Right. Wouldn't be friends with Honey, and she's like, "Oh shit, you don't know now."
A bunch of friend requests. I accept them.
There you go.
Yeah. Totally.
What you got?
That's the truth. No, I agree with all that. Okay, so my next question was, and it's we totally have to go, but I think this is a perfect way to close it.
Good.
How do you give back? So when you do produce these great shows and they're monthlies or they're weeklies, what are your ways of like giving back? And so I have my thoughts, but what are your ways of giving back to other comics, giving back to this whole world of stand-up? Like, what are some of the things that roll through your mind?
Besides time,
besides time,
you want them to roll. You want them to do more for other people. I guess Zig Ziglar. I guess my favorite quote. Back to the quotes and wrapping it up is in order to get what you want, you have to help enough people get what they want.
I agree. Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
so and that's the best part of comedy because there's so many of us. So many of us want to do something that, in any way, you can show. When I do a show, and I have a young comic, I make sure I show them how to set up the show, show them how to set up the tables, show them how to talk to people, show them how to sit people, show them how to bark, and so they know how to run their own show.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you get when I feel like you get when you do a show with somebody who's been doing it.
Right.
You should teach somebody else how to do it.
Yes, I agree.
And do it better than you, you know?
Yeah. Maybe not better. Well,
just get it and do it. And that's
one
what
barks
I try.
better than me.
Shit.
No. I agree with you. And I think one thing that I started recently doing, as much as I can, is the idea of like helping people, teaching them how to bark, teaching them how to, because one thing I've noticed recently about barking, and if y'all don't know this, or if you're barking for your own show, talk to them like they are people. Do not yell at them.
Absolutely.
Do not get angry if they don't want to see your show and they're going somewhere else. It's like, if you're nice, they might actually come back to your show. If their thing down the road didn't work out, they will be back at your show. But if you berated them, they will not come back, because then they think you're going to be that shitty comic on stage.
I remember talking to somebody else somebody older than me who used to do shows, and he's like, why are you so nice to people? Why do you help people? And I was like, ew. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how are you right. supposed to be? Like, he's like, no, I don't help. I make guys do it, and then if they want to do it, and then I'll get somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was like, so you don't show anybody, you don't teach anybody, you don't. That's.
Yeah.
That was, I don't know. It was.
That's weird.
I couldn't comprehend.
That's also not you though, because back to the Zig Ziglar quote, like you want to help people get what they want, and I think the quote that I wanted to share because I feel like this was a really big game changer for me, especially just like for all growing comics. Old comics, new comics, the whole shebang, because I think what's interesting is that your process is always going to be changing. So it's like at first you're like, I just want to be good at mics, and then you're like, I just want to be good on my show, and then it's like there's always another level. And this is a quote that I like to read, and I don't even know who it's by, so forgive me, but I like to read this before I go on stage. Nervousness arises because you have something to gain from the transaction. If you have nothing to gain, you will not feel nervous. Therefore, the question is not how do I stop being nervous or how do I deal with this nervousness. The greater question is this: how can I be so sincere, so authentic that I have everything to give and nothing to gain? Yeah, right? Yeah.
Everybody's thinking.
Yeah. Right?
That's
like
good.
that's
Absolutely.
I feel like every comic, if we could experience that on stage, that's it. Because there are rungs, right?
Yeah.
You know?
It's not about, you said it.
You said it.
I didn't say that, but that's brilliant. I would have said something like, don't expect shit, you know?
Yeah.
Just have, you know.
Yeah, but then sometimes you'll be in a situation where you're like, I really want to deliver. I really want them to like me. And then you have to also be like, but you know what? Like, all I can do is give my authentic self.
And when you start, that's
it.
How you are. You know?
Yeah.
And any questions? No, good. Did we learn something? Yeah. Is that Landsman?
Me.
Hi, beautiful.
See you too.
Where can they find you online?
Yeah, you can
we got a lot done.
Yeah, we got tons done.
All right. Yeah, good.
3 minutes. We're doing it. Okay, so you can find me Malorie, like calorie, Malorie, calorie.
That's been your tag since I met you.
Wait, what?
That's been your tag since I met you.
Yeah. Mallory like calorie.
Does anybody say, how do you
Bryant.
spell Mallory?
Yes, like calorie. They do, because they say Llory, which it's not that. It's Mallory like calorie, Malorie. Bryant like Bryant Park, MalloryBryant.com, and that's my handle on everything, Mallory Bryant. It's really simple.
On Instagram,
Twitter. What
Pinterest.
else? Their Instagram and what are the other things?
Pinterest.
You always ask me about Pinterest.
I'm trying to get sponsored by Pinterest.
Nobody wants to be on Pinterest.
You don't understand. Pinterest.
No.
I know people who listen to my podcast and they say, "Oh, so and so opened their first board on Pinterest." I have a following. All right, people are doing it. Get on Pinterest. You want your followers and fans? They're on Pinterest.
I don't think they
God
are.
damn it.
But I agree. I believe you.
I was gonna say one thing. Yeah, I gotta do that with peoples too. I say people with an S, and they were like peoples P, and then I spell it out every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Website.
Yeah, MalloryBryant.com.
What's after the website? YouTube. That's what I'm trying to get you on YouTube.
I have.
You have
I'm
your name on YouTube?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, you have numbers because you have to have.
I have Mallory Bryant on everything.
That's so fucking cocky. Yeah, because you have to have 100 subscribers in order to get your name. So you have that?
I don't
guess you do.
Subscribers?
Yeah, you do.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Give it up for her one more time. Damn good. You can find us wherever you can find podcasts, on iHeartRadio. I'm drawing a blank. Spotify. This and Blog Talk Radio, JimPeoples.com. We are on YouTube. Nick Crespo, our chancellor, is late as fuck. We're going to be on LiveMe.com. It's a new app they're trying to bring to America. It's in China and London. The amount of followers you get, people actually watch. So it's young kids who watch. So if you can download the LiveMe app, we'll use that next time. I'll have you back in a month and we'll talk again.
Do it again.
Give it up for one more time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.